Let us offer our consecration to the Lord. Lord, we offer up to you this day, this Good Friday. Let us be open to all that you have done for us. Let us be filled with your mercy and love as we look upon your act of mercy, and we ask this through Christ our Lord. Well, today is Good Friday. It is a day of fasting and abstinence. Now, abstinence means no meat. So if you're going to eat today, make sure it isn't meat. And you can have fish, or you can have anything that, this is kind of an interesting thing when people understand the abstinence, because they'll say, well, we have to eat fish today. No, you just don't have to have meat. That's it. So, and I'm not necessarily trying to be funny here, but it is a good illustration. You can have a piece of pepperoni pizza today, but you can have a piece of pizza that is without the pepperoni. Any flavor except one that doesn't have meat in it. So no sausage, no pepperoni, no hamburger, no nothing that is meat. That's all. That's really all it is. You can have anchovies because anchovies are fish. So a lot of people think you have to eat fish today if you eat at all, and I'll talk about that in a second. No, you just don't. You just can't eat meat. So that's always a misunderstanding. Well, we have to eat fish. No, you just don't have to eat meat. This is a day. All the days of abstinence, which prior to Vatican II were every Friday, and other parts of the world currently or every Friday, abstinence meant not eating meat, and people again assume fish, and that's where the Filet-O-Fish came from McDonald's, because they found, this is true, I forget the source of this, but I'm sure there's 1,000 sources on this. They found that less people came to McDonald's on Friday because back then Catholics could not eat meat. So they came up, it wasn't Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc came up with something that didn't work. It was like a pineapple burger or something like that. And someone else, one of the other franchisees, came up with the Filet-O-Fish, and that's why they have Filet-O-Fish at McDonald's. And I got news for you. I don't eat at McDonald's all the time, but obviously I have. Tell you a funny story about that. Obviously I have, but when I have had a Filet-O-Fish, they're really good. I really, really like them. The other little funny story I had is I was with someone and they had to go to the bathroom, and there was a local McDonald's, so we walk into the McDonald's. We were down, this is years ago, so I don't know if it's the same one, that we were down by Kenmore Square. And he walks into the McDonald's. I don't even know if the McDonald's is still there at that place. He walks in the McDonald's and says, it's only for regular customers. I went, who's not a regular customer at McDonald's? Go use the bathroom. It's true. Who's not a regular customer at McDonald's? So anyway, today is a day of eating anything that's not meat. And the fasting part, and this is really important to get that down, because it's not a matter of trying too hard. It's a matter of just fasting as an act of penance. So you can have two smaller meals and one other meal that is not larger than the two other meals combined. But I tell people, I can't do math to save my life. So I just tell people, just have two smaller meals and don't eat in between, and then have, something a little bigger. Don't get too lost in the mathematics, because it just gets confusing if you do. And if you really want to take it quite literally and do it mathematically, losing the whole spirit of the penitential act, you can have 2 3-course meals and 1 6-course meal. But don't do that. But you can see what I'm saying. That's an example. You can have 2 3-course meals and 1 6-course meal. Your issue is always your health. You don't want to fast. You're not showing God anything if you're fasting in a way that damages your health. So you don't want to fast in a way that you shouldn't fast. If you are a diabetic and the doctor says do not participate in the fast, do not participate in the fast. Do I need a dispensation, Father? Technically, your pastor may say, ask for a dispensation. If you need one from any priest that you can find, you just had one. Do not go against your health. If you're taking a medication that requires food, eat food and take your medication. If you're taking medication, do not fast from medication. So your health is important. Don't overdo it on the fasting. Just remember 2 smaller meals, 1 larger meal that's not, bigger than the 2 combined, and don't eat in between meals. And that's how to do it. We're going to talk more on the other side of the break. You're listening to St. Anthony Overnight from St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL and CatholicAudiomedia.com. You can now leave a message for us, which we can air and discuss on this program. Just call 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. 617-297-7452. Feel free to call, leave a comment, a question, or even feedback, and we may play it on the air. I can discuss your comment or question as well, so give that a try. 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. Are you looking for guidance on how to live a purposeful and transformed life? Look no further than Romans 12, a chapter in the New Testament that offers practical wisdom for believers. Romans 12 begins with a powerful call to offer our bodies as living sacrifices to God, urging us to renew our minds and align them with His will. This chapter highlights the importance of humility, using our gifts for the benefit of others, and exercising genuine love. It teaches us to be diligent in serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, persevering in tribulation, and being devoted to prayer. But it doesn't stop there. Romans 12 also teaches us to live in harmony with others, extending kindness and hospitality even to our enemies. It urges us to overcome evil with good and leave vengeance to God. So if you're seeking guidance on how to live a life of love, humility, and service, dive into Romans 12. Let its practical wisdom transform your life. Romans 12, a chapter that offers a roadmap to living a purposeful and transformed Christian life. Available now in the New Testament. Get your copy today. We're back, and so it is Good Friday. I just spent the first half of the show talking about the fasting and abstinence. So our gospel reading today, and remember during this week I'm focusing on the gospel, is actually John's account of the Passion of Christ. So it's different. Sunday, you heard Luke's account because this year is the year we focus on the Gospel of Luke. Today on Good Friday, we always focus on John's account. And of course, each one has their own relative story. In this one, we see, obviously the whole focus of the story of Jesus. We see a focus on Pilate. What we don't see is the conversation between Jesus and the 2 thieves. You'll only find that in Luke, so that's the only place where you hear that. But this brings you the basic story all around, and we understand that, Christ suffered from his crucifixion here. Now, we also understand that this is something that he gave himself over to do. This becomes a principle that's important to understand, and that is one of the things that you can do to defeat another person is to let them win. And this is exactly what Jesus does. And it's something I've always communicated, depending on what winning is considered by the person who is trying to silence you, whatever the case may be, let them win, because they don't understand that when they win, they lose. And if you look, that's a principle that Jesus follows. Lets them win. Okay, you want to win this battle? Fine, you win. And don't forget, I bring this up a lot, Don't forget a very powerful lesson here, because you're looking at this from the bigger picture. You're seeing this like from a bird's eye view. Jesus dies on the cross. We know several days later, 3 days later actually, he resurrects from the dead. He never goes back to the town square. Always keep that in mind. He ultimately appears to only 500 people. According to St. Paul, that's from 1 Corinthians 15. So he only appears, and they were all people who were his friends, so to speak, his disciples. And this is something that St. Paul talks about. He does not go back to the town square. A lot of times you may look at signs of God's anger, and you may look and you say, well, we want to see God strike people dead today because they did X, Y, and Z. You don't see that. You will never, you really don't. It's rare that you see that even in the Bible. What you do see is God lets people win. And then when they win, they lose. And that's an important consideration. A good example is you will see that when people expect that the Lord's going to be with them when they are in a battle, although they turn their heart against the Lord, and they say, but where, the Lord will be with us no matter what. Doesn't work that way. He just doesn't show up. You see the difference. So what we see here is he lets them win, and then he never goes back to the town square. Always keep that in mind, because they wanted to win, and that's what they win. That's why humility is important, being obedient to Christ, being silent before the Lord, and doing the Lord's will as opposed to my will, my way, which is what the Pharisees did, and he never went back. Anyway, we'll talk to you on Monday. Have yourself a blessed Easter. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.